So this next example is an example of the quadratic formula where the radical simplifies. So here we have this problem, 11x squared minus 1 equals 9x. For the quadratic formula, you want the right-hand side to equal 0, so I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides and have 11x squared minus 9x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now really quick, I'm going to make that b squared, opposite of b squared 4ac 2a table. It just helps me a little bit. So the opposite of b is positive 9. B squared is 81. 4 times a is 44 times negative 1, negative 44. 2a is 22. So this is x is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of 81 minus a negative 44 all over 22. Cleaning that up a little bit, x is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of 81 plus 44 is 125 all over 22. So this is the case where we've done these, and the last time we had it where the square root did not simplify at all. But 125, there is a perfect square other than 1 that goes into it. 125 is 25 times 5. So you could think of this as x is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of 25 times 5 all over 22. And the reason I care about that perfect square is I know the square root of 25, and you can break up square roots at the multiplication. So this is 9 plus or minus the square root of 25 times the square root of 5 all over 22. And simplifying the square root that you know, and I always write the perfect square first, x is equal to 9 plus or minus 5 square root of 5 all over 22. This is the exact simplified solution. And now if you want the approximate in your calculators, we can do x is approximately equal to 9 minus 5 square root of 5 all over 22, or x is equal to 9 plus 5 square root of 5 all over 22. And as I do this, I'm going to put the numerator in parentheses. That way in my calculator, I don't make any mistakes with the order of operations. So there are my parentheses, 9 minus 5 square root of 5. Close the parentheses and divide by 22. So this is x is approximately equal to negative point. Now here, if I round to the second decimal place, this is a 9, so I'm rounding up here. So it's got to be a negative 0.10. And I leave the 0 there to know that it is rounded. And then open parentheses for the numerator here, 9 plus 5 square root of 5 divided by 22. Notice I did have to get out from underneath the square root there. And this is 0.92, or x is approximately equal to 0.92. And one thing I will add to this is, if all I needed was the decimal solution, I could have done that up here. So up here I'm going to do, in parentheses, 9 minus the square root of 125 and divided by 22. And you should see I got exactly what I got here, and if I did 9 plus the square root of 125 divided by 22, that got me this. So if all I need is the decimal equivalent, I don't need to simplify the square root. But if I want the exact simplified form, which you may see in Algebra 2, that's this work. Okay, so the next problem you should try before watching the next video. This is also going to be a case where your square root will simplify. So this is going to give you a little bit of practice simplifying a square root.